Good morning, Thursday, December 5th. I'm hanging out with Michael Cirillo. We're talking about GM taking a $5 billion hit and a $2 million treasure hunt. We're talking money this morning.
The people really want to know who I is and who I be.
Oh, man.
Money.
We're talking lots of money. We're talking lots of money. Hey, just before we get into it this morning, you got to go to asodu.com. You got to scroll down just a little bit and make sure you catch our webinar tomorrow with Stream Companies about building your 2025 advertising strategy. Since we're talking about money, don't waste your money in 2025. You know what I mean, Cirillo?
Don't waste your money.
Don't waste.
Was it you and I that were just talking about how much money gets wasted?
Oh, you're going to get me down like a podcast topic that you're not even going to want to get to this morning, because we're happy just throwing money into the air and seeing if it catches on fire.
Yay, it's all falling down on us.
It's all falling down. Hey, speaking of money catching on fire.
Stop. Segue. Time.
Whoops. General Motors announced over $5 billion in non-cash charges tied to its struggling operations in China, reflecting the immense challenges foreign automakers face in the world's largest automaker. So GM is facing charges of $2.6 to $2.9 billion just for restructuring, and then another $2.7 billion for reduced value in its joint venture with SAIC. The company's Chinese operation saw a 59% sales drop through November, selling 371,000 units compared to BYD's 3.7 million. They're obviously not alone in China. Volkswagen has been declining in sales. Nissan is cutting 9,000 jobs, and Ford is shifting focus to vehicle exports as competition from local automakers intensifies. Mary Barra, CEO of GM, also described China as being, quote, untenable for many corporations. Obviously, a lot of experts are talking about, the Western society not being able to be successful in China, with Bernstein analysts saying headwinds in China remain too great to create meaningful profitability. Changes in the wind.
Ooh, do you think, reading between the lines here too, it also has something to do with the fact that there's about 178 zillion EV automakers in China that are building some really nice cars.
Building really nice cars with massive government subsidies, and that's, and what's interesting is, like, we get all up in arms about whether or not those automakers are going to be able to come to the US and all of that. And I think some of the changes in the air of, like, hey, look, we're going to put pressure on these vehicles not coming into the US, right? That's happening in the same way for, Eastern manufacturing as well. So, the battle for worldwide impact for any OEM is going to become it's going to become tenuous over the next couple of years, I think.
It's about to get interesting.
Speaking of staying interesting.
Stop. Segue. Time.
We're moving fast this morning because, your boy got into the show late, and this is live. It's live, everybody. We don't mess around. Hey, entrepreneur John Collins Black has launched a nationwide treasure hunt, hiding 5 chests worth $2 million across the U.S. Clues are embedded in his new book, There's Treasure Inside. Collins Black is a Bitcoin millionaire with a passion for unique collections. All of the treasures in the 5 chests include items like Bitcoin, shipwreck bounty, rare Pokemon cards, historical artifacts from figures like George Washington and Amelia Earhart. Each chest is custom made by a blacksmith, with one larger chest holding these lion's share of riches. Obviously, a ton of planning went into the project over 5 years, including expert consultation, detailed documentation of the treasures, all the whole 9 yards. Crazy book. This is just cool. This is fun.
This is Mr. Beast. This is like, this is something Mr. Beast would do. I think it's actually brilliant because this isn't a strategy. I mean, okay, let's break it down to a smaller scale, but this is actually something dealerships could pull off in their communities.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be big chests and all this and that, but I mean, some of them, some dealerships you and I know already lean into doing community engagement, things like this. I think this is brilliant marketing because it's outside of the box. still there's novelty around it. And it's and really like it's for something as simple as getting people to buy a book.
Yep. Exactly.
So,
Well, and I think, and I've seen dealers take part in some of these things, like just honestly, it's similar treasure hunts around your city, right? And the dealers dropping social media posts, and maybe there's discounts, or maybe there's, little trinkets or gifts that are around the city, but it can create a social media buzz. There can be reasons to engage with, I think about the idea of like, how do I get 15 businesses to engage in this with me that now are attached with me as the center of all of the communication.
Yeah.
So out on social, in the stores, maybe even the gifts and prizes are tied to the different businesses. You talk about being the center of community. That's being the center of community.
And for those early adopters, take this story, drop it into a GPT, tell it about your dealership, and say, how could we do this at a smaller scale?
Come on now.
For ourselves. Like, it's so, like, that's what I love about living today. It's so accessible. What's weird though is like, I'd be so pissed if I opened it up and I like have George Washington's teeth and that's what I want. You know what I mean? Like, what is the George Washington relic that's going to be in there? Because I don't know if just go look it up today as your congratulatory gift from MC, a picture of George Washington's teeth, and just try and forget about it. See what
try and forget about that. Think about all the gold that he's put in there. Hey, there's gold sitting in these walls. This is why we bring it to you every single morning. Use ChatGPT. Ideate off of what other cool people are doing. Serve people in your community. Love people in your stores. Go sell some cars. Let's go.